The state people didn't come here and say, we want you all to have a road. This was a grassroots effort, born right here in Wyoming County.
The Coalfields Expressway. It has all the right components or hot-button political catchphrases that now President Donald Trump thumped on his campaign trail. Coal country, infrastructure, jobs, and literally coal.
If you build a highway on top of a coal seam, you're going to sterilize that coal, so whoever owns it, you have to pay them for it anyway. So what we found out is if we allow contractors and coal companies and so forth to work together to maximize the extraction of that coal, we found that the coal itself, depending on the amount of it, can greatly reduce the cost of building the road.
Talk about the road coming to towns like Pineville has lingered for so long that some residents think it's just empty promises. Are they cynical?
Well, yeah, there is cynicism, of course.
Have they given up?
You can't. No, they haven't. There's probably a word for this, but it's like you're cynical and hopeful at the same time. No one will be stunned if it doesn't ever get here. But we won't be shocked if it does. There is a belief that finally it's coming to Mullins. Unless that money just disappears off the planet, it's committed. That money will get the road, at least an exit in Mullins.
That's David Stover. Most people call him Bugs. He's lived in Wyoming County his entire life. An avid storyteller and local historian, he's passionate about the history and future of the Coalfields Expressway. So much that he once walked from the steps of the McDowell County Courthouse all the way to the state capitol in Charleston to raise awareness for the highway. Even so, some residents have even questioned the value of the road. Limited job opportunities mean many Wyoming County residents travel to Beckley for employment, and critics say this would just be a faster way to get the heck out of Dodge. Bug says it's too late for that.
We're leaving already. A good highway isn't going to speed us up. If anything, it's going to make it easier for people to come in. Now, I don't mean just physically. You can drive in here on a bad road, but if the highway's built and things are beginning to develop it along it, people want to come and stay. That's what we want. No one's going to leave any faster than we're leaving now.
For many here in southern West Virginia, continued construction of the Coalfields Expressway couldn't come at a better time for the region. According to the job superintendent, about 90% of the construction workers are from West Virginia.
This particular hollow here is where my culvert goes, my 1,400-foot culvert. The rock will come from way over there once we get those other hollows filled up. It'll come down in here, we'll put it into 3-foot lifts, just keep building it up, working our slopes, building our ponds, our ditches, rock ditches. It'll come up to this grade right here.
The mountains along the route are blasted to create smaller, movable pieces. 2 spreads work to move the earth. A spread is a 3-vehicle team, a massive loader, a bulldozer, and a dump truck. The dozer sits on top of the blasted earth, pushing mountain into the end loader, which dumps it into a dump truck that maneuvers down a winding road. The dirt, rock, and sometimes boulders are then released into a valley. Little by little, ridges and valleys are flattened to build new levels, and all the incidental coal is removed along the way. Here, road construction crews are literally laying the groundwork for a 4-lane highway that will traverse the rugged terrain of southern West Virginia. It's not cheap.
The terrain in West Virginia is so challenging to build highways on. It's about anywhere from $18 to $32 million a mile in today's dollars to build a section of road. So therefore, we need more money from the feds to do what you can do in other states.
In West Virginia, the paved section of the Coalfields Expressway starts in Raleigh County near Beckley in Sophia. It will also run through Wyoming and McDowell counties and create the first 4-lane highway in Wyoming County. The planned route continues into southwest Virginia through Grundy and will end at Pound, Virginia, connecting with US 23. The road is paved and drivable to the former coal camp community of Slab Fork. From Slab Fork, the road is funded through the next exit, the town of Mullins. The next phase of funding would begin the road that links Mullins with the county seat of Pineville. The road is being built to the standards of the Appalachian Development Highway System, even though it wasn't included in those routes of the Appalachian Regional Commission. The ARC helps to support a variety of successful economic development projects across the Appalachian region, including roads.
We don't have an ARC highway here, and that's why we're worse off than most. But places where ARC highways are, you're seeing Logan explode now with US 119. Those are both Appalachian Highway Development highways. Corridor H in the Elkins area, going through there, it's obvious to the naked eye what can happen when you get a highway like this.
While the ARC has helped to fund roads across the region, Browning points out that southern West Virginia has been left out in the cold when it comes to completed 4-lane highway projects.
When the interstate system was designed, it was left out when the Appalachian Corridor Highway system was designed. This area right here where we're sitting was left out. And you can see what's happened because it was left out. It hasn't enjoyed the prosperity that other places have enjoyed, the growth and so forth, the diversity of the economy that other places have, because we've just been forgotten.
But support from the ARC might not even be an option if President Trump has his way. In March, Trump proposed to completely eliminate the agency. Regardless of the funding source, though, Browning says the Coalfields Expressway is necessary to spur much-needed economic development.
This section of the country, and not just southern West Virginia, but southwestern Virginia, southern Pennsylvania, eastern Kentucky, this whole area has been the energy supplier for this whole nation since coal was discovered. You know, we went through the Industrial Revolution building all the skyscrapers all around this country with steel made in this country that was made because they had West Virginia coal and Appalachian coal to fire the furnaces. So now that coal is taboo to use, now that our industry is gone, but for whatever the reason, we need help. There's no better place than here to show what the feds can do if they want to help us diversify our economy. They're partially to blame for messing it up with the EPA directives and so forth. Not all to blame, but they're partially to blame. So why not come into this area and do some kind of a federal injection of funds to help us recover?
Coal jobs have been declining for decades, but since 2012, West Virginia went from having 23,000 mining jobs to 11,000. Most of these losses have been in southern West Virginia. WVU economists say in 5 southern counties in particular, the non-diversified economy has created financial challenges. The situation is so bad, economists compare the economy now to the 1930s during the Great Depression. McDowell and Wyoming counties are at the very bottom.
The road is our ticket to diversification. You can't do anything if you can't get your goods and materials in or out of an area. So we've got to have a modern, efficient transportation system that puts us on par with the rest of the state and the rest of the nation. If we don't have that, you know, if you can't get here, then you might as well turn the lights off and close the doors and go somewhere else, make it a state park.
And even before the latest decline, a Marshall University study conducted more than 10 years ago found that the Coalfields Expressway would help create a better economy for the region.
When coal was doing real well, even at that time, they said we were doomed because of the lack of a modern transportation system. And not only that, but we lack in water and sewer projects, we lack in broadband development. You know, without some kind of added shot into this area, I don't know what our future is.
4-lane interstate quality roads are the equivalent of if you were a social studies person and you read about the canals coming, the railroads coming, or the roads coming. 4-lane interstate level roads are all 3 of those rolled into one. It is what brings economic good times. We need this road finished. And I almost said, or we're finished, but we're not. We'll be here when your grandkids come back. But how well we're doing here is what's at stake here. We need the highway built.
While the state of West Virginia tries to figure out how they're going to move out of a budget crisis, some in the region are hoping that President Trump will remember a state that supported him more than any other state during the election. President Trump has promised to introduce a $1 trillion infrastructure bill, but it's not clear if projects in Appalachia like the Coalfields Expressway will be a priority. For West Virginia Public Broadcasting, I'm Jessica Lilly in Wyoming County.